coming out here. I really rarely get to talk about social justice from this dais because we have so many things going on in this town, from infrastructure to budgets, development, and affordable housing. So the only time that I really get to talk about it is through the equity lens that I view issues like affordable housing. I love that we get to bring up this video from 3 years ago that has been public for 3 years. Anybody is welcome to see it. I don't know where it is. I'm sure it's on his Facebook page. But I just wanted to address a couple of points from that. One is secret meetings. The Anti-Racism Coalition, yes, we did meet with members of the school committee and the town council in the summer of 2020. There's no secrets. Nobody has ever lied about it or needed to lie about that. In the summer of 2020, as you may remember, George Floyd was murdered, and it set off a whole national crisis about racial accountability. And our town leaders wanted to know what they could do to better understand what was happening in the town of Westerly. And so we believe that better than going to a meeting and calling people names or going and impugning people's honor or anything about their personal dignity, we thought a better course of action was going to be to talk to our leaders and make them see our point of view. We did that. And we are cleared of any open meeting act violations that may potentially have occurred. When we're talking about police and comments that I did make about the police, it was an extraordinary circumstance to see 7 or 8 Westerly police officers. I don't think I've ever seen that many together, not as a part of a formal event, at one time, lined up with about 50 or 60 protesters who I didn't know their state of mind at the time. I was not a part of that. I was not a part of one of the early protests. And so I made comments about the fact that it looked like a potentially explosive situation. I did not say that I thought that police were not there for one person or another person or a certain race or another race. But looking at that standoff, I think a very objective person could see that there was the potential for the situation to escalate on both sides. Nothing like that had happened that I know of in the history of this town. That's why I wanted to get involved, and that's why I did get involved. I wanted to better understand what was happening and make sure that we are channeling our energies productive, like having meetings with our leadership. I also want to address the safe spaces comment. This is a talking point that I always love to hear about. Safe spaces I picture it like this. It is about culture, it is not about race. I think if you are Jewish, for instance, you have an ability to meet with people that are within your culture and you can explore and celebrate it, and you have that space to do that. No one would deny them that space to do that. The same is true for other cultures, Native cultures, Hispanic cultures, Black culture. If you are a minority person in this environment, there's many people, and I've talked to people of color in this town who have never had the experience of just being around people like them in a majority situation. It is life affirming. I cannot tell you or explain how that situation is helpful, especially for somebody growing up who's never seen people who look like them and been in the group with them. That's what we're talking about, safe spaces. I'm not talking about trying to exclude anybody based off of their race or their skin color or anything like that. We're talking about a cultural identity and being able to maintain that. And I think that is incredibly important. And I would never deny anybody the right to have a cultural space of their own. So, Mr. Caradillo, I want you, thank you for allowing me to speak a little bit about my truth, and for your intrepid investigative reporting. Thank you for your service to the town and all of the things that you've done to sow dissent and chaos in the school committee. And him coming forward and lecturing us about how terrible we are as a council really speaks to how low I think the decorum of this council has gotten. That is Bob Caradillo telling you this. That's all I have.